Well, I wish I was coming here with glad tidings. Unfortunately, we have an injury update to Lonzo Ball based off what we heard earlier. And the update is going to keep Lonzo Ball out of basketball for a couple of weeks. We're going to talk about it all and more. But first, already know what we got to do. We got to play one of the best intros in all of podcasting. And I'll catch you guys on the other side of this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And we got an update in regards to Lonzo Ball. This just came down about 5 minutes ago. According to Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, that Lonzo Ball suffered a right wrist sprain and he will miss at least 10 days. That is a little bit of a bigger time out than what was initially expected for Lonzo Ball. And it's unfortunate, right? Lonzo, who's been playing really well, contributing for the Chicago Bulls, regardless of role, things like that. If he is out just the 10 days, that puts him coming back around the 8th or 9th, which means that he'll miss 5 games over that time period. So that's a nice amount of games for the Chicago Bulls. Now, when he comes back, if he was to come back on the 9th, if he is cleared in that 10-day period, that will put him back against Atlanta, or he can come back on the 11th against Cleveland. Again, that's if that 10-day time period does not turn into anything else. Again, so that's 5 or 6 games you can expect Lonzo Ball to be out for the Chicago Bulls. And that's really unfortunate. Lonzo has really been an important piece of the Chicago Bulls bench. Some should say he's really in the games that he plays. He really helps kind of dictate the pace and get everybody involved. But it's really unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate. But let's be clear here. This is not a setback with his knee. I already know some people are going to start conspiracy theories and asking, well, maybe it really is the knee and they're just saying it's the wrist so people won't ask about the knee. No, with the modern NBA, you got to disclose injuries. You just saw the Philadelphia 76ers get fined just because of Joel Embiid saying something about injury. They even found that the 76ers didn't do anything wrong as far as actually making them sit out, but the communication is why they were fined. So when you pair that, the Bulls aren't going to put themselves in a situation like that. It's really unfortunate when it comes down to it, man. It's really unfortunate when it comes down to it. So it's not the knee. So that's the most important thing. It's not the knee. That is the most important thing here. And so I think with it being a sprained wrist, and we already talked about this medical staff is going to be they've been very protective of the players overall. That's something I know that's new for Bulls fans because we're used to a medical staff. Hell, we're used to a medical staff that almost killed a couple of Bulls players. And that's not even exaggeration. They literally almost killed a couple of Bulls players in the past. So the fact that we have a new medical staff that's just really, really protective over the players, they really sit players out if there's any chance it looks like anything. And so this won't turn into anything long term. Go ahead and sit them for 10 days. Let the wrist heal up. And then it just is what it is when it comes down to it. So nothing too serious right now. If it develops into something else and we hear something down the stretch, of course, maybe that could change. But as of right now, it's nothing too big to worry about. So, Lonzo, overall, it's going to be up and downs for him this NBA season, right? We've talked about that. And his body's still adjusting and be back in the competition. So if he got that wrist smacked, anything, just even fact of doing the shooting motion more consistently could be something that could cause a mild sprain to the wrist with how long he was out. So overall, let's not freak out. It's going to be what it's going to be. Lonzo's going to be fine long term as far as this injury, right? And as long as it's not the knee or anything structural with the knee, I feel like we shouldn't really worry about it too much, right? I get it. People are gonna flip out because they want to see Lonzo on the court. I get it. Waited a long time to get Lonzo back. I understand it. But, next man up mentality. And maybe this could open up some more minutes for more players that haven't gotten to play a lot of minutes. Miles Busilis, THT, Dalen Terry, right? Julian Phillips getting more minutes. These guys finding a way to make a bigger impact and things like that. So it is what it is when it comes down to it. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think you guys should freak out about it too much. And we'll see what happens, man. Wishing Zoe a quick recovery. I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. F Modest Busilis, what? Michael Hines, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, you know what? We don't have time for idiocracies today. We just gonna sit you down. Um, 2 days off soon. I mean, yeah, he's gonna have more than 2 days off now, but I think it is what it is. Like he'll be okay, y'all. I promise you. Lonzo Ball will be okay in the long term. It is going to suck that we are missing him because we need Lonzo Ball, and Lonzo Ball has been really good for this Bulls team. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, him missing 5 or 6 games, he played the most minutes as well that he has since his return in 18 minutes in the last game. So things are going to happen, man. That's just the non-linear place that you are with this recovery. Like it's just going to happen, man. It's going to happen. I don't like how Bleacher Report decided to post that. They knew what they were doing. I'm not worried he will bounce back from it. I'm just grateful it's not. I didn't even see Bleacher Report. I don't know what Bleacher Report posted. I do work for Bleacher Report, but it is what it is when it comes down to it. This dude's softer than a gum wrapper I used to put around my teeth to look like Mike Joe. That's crazy. That's wild. That's throwback there. This definitely is a sign that Zoe need to be starting though, so his body can get. I thought you stopped the crack, bro. I thought you stopped the crack. Like I thought you stopped it. Like what are we talking about? Robert Sylvester is an American. What? Damn, P. Will sat out a whole season over. Yeah, because he broke his wrist. That's not a. He didn't sit out all season over a sprained wrist. Like, why even make that comparison? That's stupid. Wrist injuries are weird. Yeah, absolutely. Wrist injuries are weird. Your dog's starting to hog you. He can have it. Listen, he can have it. He's the star here. I'm just the guy facilitating. I'm just the guy facilitating. It is what it is. Hope Lonzo gets well soon, sending healing vibes. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be fine long term. He's going to be fine long term. And if you don't sit his ass in some Epsom salt light sun candles and smoke a blunt 10 days, that's crazy. That's crazy. Cristiano Felicio is not better than Patrick Williams. Y'all got to stop with the idiocracies. Like, y'all just got to stop. Bracing yourself for falls are tricky. Why are you falling so much, Rob? Like, why are you falling so much? This chat today got me like it's just listen. That's one thing. You know what? I've come to realize is that when the Bulls are on or even halfway decent, they're at 500 right now. The idiots come out. Like it is what it is. And that's not directed at any of my OGs. Like Eco Bean, those guys is not directed at any of those. Those guys, they already know I'm gonna talk shit to them. They're gonna talk shit to me back. That's family. But like some of these other people, you one-off Negroes, man, y'all special. Y'all special. You think the Bulls are being careful and it's not that serious? I do think there is a level of being really careful right now with everybody. And that's just how this new medical staff seems like they're handling things. That they're just like at the point where if you got anything that could linger on, let's go ahead and sit you for a few days, let that heal up, and then we ain't got to worry about it. Right. So rather than play on it for 3 or 4 games, and then you're not really playing up to your level, let's go ahead and sit you for 2 games and then we don't have to worry about it. Right. That's really how it seems like this medical staff is handling things. So, what do you think this is? What do you think is the defensive ceiling of Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry? That's a great question, Debo. Julian Phillips, I think, has the upside of being he's already guarded a lot of positions, like a 2-3 position defender. I don't know. I haven't seen anything from me that says shutdown defender from Julian Phillips, but I do think he can be a very active and disruptive defender. And same with Dalen Terry. I think disruption, but I think I've seen more kind of signs of lockdown ability because that game he played against Trae Young last year, he did amazingly well. So maybe that's just Trae Young as well with the heads with the hair. So I'm okay with it as long as it's not his knee. Facts, right? That's really what it comes down to. As long as it's not a knee injury for Lonzo, we can live with it, right? We can live with it. So we can weather the storm. Do you like this new look offense? I love it. They just got to keep the turn. When they're not turning the ball over, it's beautiful, right? So they got to stop the 20 plus turnovers in games. They got to stop that. Do we have a new? Yes, we have a new medical staff. We do have a new medical staff. I don't think they came in last season. I think this is the first season of the new medical staff, but I do know we have a new medical staff. So, and they're being very protective. And here's the thing. I'd rather them be more protective over the players than be almost killing players like some of our old men. As long as Tanaka ain't out there, right? As long as it's not out there, man. As long as Tanaka isn't rolling his ass out there after Chris Dunn bust his face and had literal teeth on the basketball court, and Jeff Tanaka's just coming out there with his little kit, like, oh, it's just let me check that. Like, stupid, stupid. But yeah, so but I just want to bring that quick update, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799, with the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls.